Good evening from a blustery, chilly Dartmoor evening. It's about 4 o'clock. The sun is just setting behind me, and I've kind of tried to promise to myself and to people watching that I'll try and get out once a month camping. So it's like my aim now. I should be able to do that. You're probably wondering which shelter has Tony brought this time. Well, once a year on average I try to do the old cold turkey, and just to show that I do listen to people who make the comments, right, I try to. And again, sorry if I don't reply to everybody. Keep commenting. I do read them all. Once a year is back around, and normally when I go cold turkey it's not quite as chilly as this. But anyway, the old turkey is out, and I brought the Acto again. I know many people probably think, what's you got a tent like that for, and then you use it once a year? Well, that's me. Anyway, I've got the Acto out today, so it's kind of good to use, you know, a proper tent occasionally, just so, you know, as a professional reviewer of proper shelters, you know, I can see how the other half live, and, you know, give my thoughts on it, I guess. So, and I don't think I've actually brought the Acto out in weather quite as chilly as this, so in many ways it is obviously going to give, you know, a lot of protection from the old wind and rain and everything like that. It's just so bloody small. But anyway, we'll obviously have to get over the slight shortcomings of it. It's surprisingly roomy. If there was only one of you and no dog, you'd have a ton of room. And many people I know have their dogs and they take the dogs inside with them. I can't get on with that. I don't want... I'm not a fussy person, not even close to fussy, and sometimes get into trouble at home for that. But I don't like you know, dogs on my bedding particularly, and especially sort of expensive bedding like I've got for camping. I just don't want a cold wet dog with claws all over my kit. That's just my little thing. It's just I think it's the wet that worries me, if she was wet and she's not, and the claws. If it wasn't for that, then probably wouldn't worry me too much. But I do worry a bit about the claws. And as I say, she's dry, but if she was wet, I wouldn't want a wet dog all over my sleeping bag. But anyway, it's definitely a bit on the parky side. So one thing I do with the Acto, when I remember, is I put a little peg down here, just to keep this line here close to the ground, so I don't trip over it, because I have a habit of tripping on that. I'll put the rucksack as far over into the corner as I can once I'm inside. So yeah, I'll put the rucksack into the far corner. I've brought Lass's waterproof bed. Now, I never quite work out where to put Lassie, and usually I sort of put her in this sort of triangle here, but it doesn't really give me a huge amount of room here. So what I might actually do is, and in the past I've had a bigger rucksack, I just brought the lightweight MLD bag with me, and I still got all of this in it, even the tent. So the rucksack I can probably put right over into the corner, and I might maybe try and get Lassie in this area here. It's just not really convenient for me. This is again why I prefer something, I mean, a little bit bigger, because the bit of space here, this sort of space here, part of which I need to put a hairy dog is where I like to, you know, do my cooking and all of that sort of stuff. So it's not as convenient, in my opinion. That's why I still prefer my, to be honest, in some ways, that's why I even prefer that tarp I had last time. It kind of would have been, it's the person's fault who mentioned that I needed to get this tent out. I might have brought that tarp again if someone hadn't, but I think it would have been a bit chilly with that, but it certainly would have been an very interesting experiment. Anyway, I think next time I'll go back to the either the Supermid or the Trail Start. I've still got the Duomid, I just don't really use that so much. So anyway, that's right, next camp. This one here. So where are we? Yeah, so this is obviously Lass's bag here with food in it. And I've got this mat here because it's a bit colder now. So I will put this mat down for her. And then I've got a waterproof mat in there, which I will probably put down for her as well. And then inside is my sleeping bag in that big MLD Cuban fibre stuff sack. Sleeping bag, and all my night stuff is in there, so socks, leggings, a t-shirt, so anything and everything I need for the night is in there. Mat there. I've actually probably overdone it with foam pads, to be honest, but I bought 2 foam pads, obviously the mat there. Waterproof trousers. I'm wearing my Paramo, so I didn't bring a waterproof coat because I've got my Paramo on. I brought my wind shirt, although that's probably superfluous. And then I've got another bag. This bag here, I've gone a bit heavyweight really with this, but that bag there just has, you know, a power pack, a small speaker that goes with the tablet, and then cables for charging things, and then a bag over there I've got for towels. Basically just got a few towels, and I've obviously bought some extra towels. I don't think I need them because it's only forecast to rain from, it's just forecast to rain from about 9 o'clock tonight, so we'll be well and truly inside, and tomorrow morning we'll be getting up and going, so I won't need towels today. But if we'd have got here and we had got wet, then given that it's cold, I would have wanted to make sure that I was dry, and obviously I wanted to make sure that I would have dried Lassie off as well. Again, in the summer if she's wet, you know, it doesn't matter, but this time of the year I'd want to make sure that she was, you know, dry in the tent. So I think the next thing to do really now is to, you know, set up inside, because as I say, the sun has disappeared now, so it's going to be dark in the next 20 minutes, half hour. So I think while I've got a bit of daylight left, I'll sort myself out and get inside, and then I'm ready for the night then, and I'm going to stay relaxing in the sleeping bag all night. Okay, well, we're inside, just a couple of minutes have passed. I've just taken my shoes off, and I'm inside this womb, or coffin. I was thinking of inside something else, but I won't go there. So anyway, it's as tight as that. I'm inside, and yeah, it's kind of cozy, tight cozy. I kind of don't really know where to start, to be honest. Okay, well, as you can see, this is the top of my head, and well, I'm sure I usually, unless I have to pitch something really, really low, I usually have more headroom than this. Not always, but I'm not usually brushing my big head up against the top, you know, quite as much as that. I'm not deliberately making this an anti-tent video. I'm just highlighting a few differences. So inside, over this end, this actually looks worse than it is. This, to be honest, this is my winter sleeping bag. So you know, this is my winter sleeping bag, and it's, as I say, it's really thick and chunky. It's really thick and chunky. So it looks like I put more stuff in here than I have. And then that's just I brought the inner for the sleeping bag out of habit. To be honest, I probably won't need that in here. And then obviously there's just, as I say, a t-shirt. So, you know, if perchance, you know, I'd done a slightly longer walk than the hour or less that it took me to get here, and it was wet, and perchance I'd been out all day, and you know, and I was soaked, then to me, I always like to just carry a complete set, especially in the winter, of clothes, and none of it's particularly heavy. Most of it you could use in an emergency as backup. Anyway, so I always carry a spare pair of light gloves for in case it's cool in the tent, a spare t-shirt, my my balaclava, socks somewhere. There's one sock, but there should be another sock somewhere. Leggings, and then I put my waterproof socks in, just out of a habit really. I will admit I did bring my Gore-Tex Innovate boots again. I'm not getting out walking quite as much or as far, so I have to admit my feet are my feet are a bit weedy. So I'm kind of using the waterproof footwear more at the moment. Okay, I need to go and see where my other sock is. It's probably caught up in the sleeping bag somewhere. And then, as I say, I've just got my wind shirt and my waterproof trousers there, and that's the liner thing that goes inside the sleeping bag if needed, and all that stuff I'll probably put under the head end of my pillow or under the head end of the mat to help raise my foot up a bit. It's actually not so bad that I brought that extra piece of foam, because I've put one piece of foam under here, and then my feet are on this piece of foam here. So actually that worked out quite well, to be honest. So I've really just got to try and work out to be honest, the space inside, you know, apart from a head touching, is okay. And vestibule space, if you were by yourself, would be okay, because then I could do my cooking here, and you know, I'd have room. But I got a dog, so I need to. And like I said, I never welcome her in here, so I need to clear this area here a bit so I can do something here, and then maybe she can. I don't know. I'll have a fiddle in a second. Yeah, we've got to work out where you're going. Yes. Oh, I know. You're a good girl. I know you're a good girl. Yeah, they just brought you out into the wilderness again. Huh? Yes. Alright. Okay, good girl. Okay, well, another sort of request stroke suggestion I had the other day in comments was to do a video of my or to do something with my cook system. Well, it's a bit dark now. It's only 5:10. So I thought I'd just show you my cooking system in the dark as best I can with my head torch just here. In fact, that's the head torch there, you can see it in the in the video. This really, really annoying little cough. It's like this cold thing that I had. So when I take my hand away, the inside of the pot is dark. And when I put my hand there, my hand is reflecting light back. So, of all the different shelters that I try, mostly MLD of course, I pretty much 100% of the time, it seems at the moment, stick with one cooking pot, and that's this. This is the Avenue titanium, ultralight titanium Avenue. And I think, to be honest, I think this one I got from Amazon, and I think it came from China or Japan or somewhere. It didn't come from America, surprisingly. This little burner that I use for maths. Trail Designs do something very similar, which I've used before, but someone local to me made this. I've kind of forgotten his name now, but someone local to me made this, and I think he does little things as a side. I've gone and lost my, there it is. I have this tiny piece of titanium or thick aluminium. I'm not quite sure what it is, but anyway, I always just put that on the ground, and I always put my little burner on top of that. And then I use the Trail Designs Sidewinder, and I do like this because, I do like this because every single thing fits inside the pot. So even the cone, when rolled down, does fit in the pot. So I do rather like that. And then these little spoons, obviously, they fold. I know where you've got like a bright light there. Maybe try that. That might be better. Funny thing is, the light is much lighter, as in it's number 1 setting rather than the maximum setting, but that actually seems a bit better on the viewfinder. Although I can't see, so I think you can see almost more than me now. So I like these little spoons here. They folded in half, and probably one would be enough, but I always carry 2. So that's the little burner there, and then that's the little the cone on top. I'll just leave the cone off for a minute because you can't really see quite so much. So what I'll do is I'll just move that there, just like that. So that's the pot there. The reflecting ploy is not as effective with a lighter light. Anyway, what we'll do is maybe if I just put this on my head. A minute. Right, okay. Yeah, now you... Okay. Seeing what you can see. Okay, let's try that. Okay. Looks like you can see. Obviously when my head turns, then things are going to go dark momentarily, but it's just easier for me to see what I'm doing just for a minute. So, this is the pot, and this is some water that I collected earlier, because it's only 5 o'clock, and believe it or not, I've only had one cup of tea since about 11 o'clock this morning, and one cup of tea between 11 o'clock and 5 o'clock is probably very similar to an alcoholic, joking aside, when they're desperate for a pint. So, is my hand in the way? Yeah, my hand's in the way now. Okay, so water in there, point that, and then this is the little stove here. So, I'm hoping you can see, and then I've got a little pot of meths. And what I like with this stove particularly is I don't have to measure the meths out. I just simply pour in a good amount, and that's it. And then I just make sure everything is ready. So I've got the cone here, pot there. Right, so that's on fire. We've got that there, and that there. And that's the cooking system. It's actually marginally close to this. I'll just have to be a little bit careful, but it's okay that. So I'm going to have a cup of tea, and when it boils, all I do is lift the water pot out and blow, and it blows the fire out. So, you know, even if I've got fuel spare, I just save it for next time. Just give it a good blow, give it a good blow, and then you're ready to go for another time. And you can put more fuel in if needed. And that's how I do my cooking. And then I use this one setup for everything. So in this instance I make tea first, because I really do need a tea. And then after tea, because you're here all night, so you don't need 20,000 pots. So just take your time. One pot does tea, you drink your tea. Then I can maybe make a cup of soup. So you drink your cup of soup. And then after that, you maybe want your pasta or your meal or whatever. You have your pasta or your meal. After that, maybe you want another cup of tea again or something like that. The only limiting thing is obviously if you want a hot drink while you're eating, and you can't do that, but it's never been a problem for me. So that's it. I just carry that. So the only really heavy thing on this trip, was the tent, and that's about 1.8 kilograms or something like that. If I'd have brought the Trailstar or Supermid or Tap or something like that, I probably would have saved a kilogram and probably had more space. But I have to say, it is cozy in here, and there's no wind. There's virtually little to no wind here, which is I must say a little bonus. Not that the wind really bothers me, but that is something. There's a little bit of flame coming out just over there, so I just want to make sure. I don't think if it flames over there, I don't think it's going to come out down here. But that's just something just keeping half an eye on. We're better to cook a little bit further away, not 2 miles away, but 6 inches would probably be 6 inches would probably be plenty that way. All right, well, I'm gonna enjoy my cup of tea, and I'll catch you all in a minute. Good morning, everybody. It's about 10 o'clock, and I'm only just coming to slowly. I think I shut the tablet off and settled down at about 10 o'clock, thinking if I got an early-ish night, which I haven't always been getting recently, that I'd wake up bright and breezy this morning. I slept okay, a little bit sort of restless. Woke up and fell asleep, woke up, fell asleep. In the early hours I was a bit on the warm side, so I ended up taking my jumper off, although I always kept my 2 layers on here. I don't think it went that cold out. My guess is I doubt it went much lower than 4 or 5, to be honest. And this is like a -18, -20 rated bag, and even now I'm comfortable in it. I wouldn't say I'm cold. I wouldn't say I'm hot in it. As I say, during the night I did get a little bit too warm inside, so I took off my leggings and socks just to cool off the body, and I had my fleece on and I took that off, and that pretty much stabilized my temperature. And I had closed the inner door. I left the outer door open all night. Rain was forecast, and the only reason why I closed the inner door wasn't that I really wanted to, it's just that I knew rain was forecast and I didn't want to close the outer door. And to be honest, I don't think rain, as long as it was blowing in that direction, would have come this way anyway. But just in case, the weather changed and I didn't notice rain being blown into me, that's why I just, I didn't do it all the way up, but I just sort of did it up partly just to give some protection. And when I woke up, or when I looked out the door just recently, just a few minutes ago, I noticed obviously it had rained, and there were raindrops on here, raindrops on there. So this little area just here where the pot is got wet from rain, but that's understandable because it's pretty much under the open part of the door. But where Lassie slept, and I did put her on this area here, and that actually worked very well. I've not done that before. I've always put Lassie here, which is why I've always had to close the outer door to protect Lassie from any rain. But this time I thought I'd put Lassie here and just see how that worked out. I think in the past I brought a bigger rucksack that took up more space in this area. But because I had that lightweight MRD frameless pack, I was able just to stuff it at the back, and then it took up a lot less room, which actually was a big bonus for last night. So then I was able to put Lassie here, and she stayed there the whole night. And then, as I say, I was able to keep that out at the end, so she stayed there protected from weather. and then I was able to keep the door open, which and condensation's pretty good actually. And the door open helped. There was some fog, and there's obviously no condensation on this. There was some fog about 8 o'clock-ish, something like that. It was very foggy. It was very foggy at about 8 o'clock. And then I think the rain came in at about 9 or 10 o'clock, and it rained a little bit, but it didn't rain as much as the forecast said, because I thought the rain was going to start at like 5 o'clock and rain, heavy rain all night into today and most of today. And as I say, it's not raining now. I don't think it rained that much in the night really. I think it was a bit, but I don't think it was a ton of rain. It certainly didn't keep me awake anyway. I just couldn't quite get... Sometimes I can get comfortable and I can sleep right through. Other times when I'm camping, I can't. So this is how I... I'm not sure if what you saw there, but that's how you blow it out anyway. It's quite... very simple to blow that out. So I'm going to have a cup of tea. It's my first tea of today. So, excuse me while I have my cup of tea. Okay, well it's about 12 o'clock lunchtime, and I'm still in camp. Everything is put away. So I did manage to pack 99% of everything inside the pack, inside the tent. So if it had been raining, you can pack every single thing into the pack, and the tent will be the last thing I do, and that will go into the outside pocket. So, you know, it is and it was possible to pack inside. It was a bit scrunched. Let's see. It was a bit tight, but it was certainly doable. So that's a little bit of consumer advice for the Hilleberg Acto user. You can pack inside. So, as you can see, it's a little bit breezy, a little bit misty. It's not as cold as it was yesterday. Yesterday I put my fleece on to walk here from the car. Today I've packed my fleece in the rucksack. It doesn't feel as cold this morning, well, this lunchtime. I'll just quickly show you around the Acto. I did pitch it very, very tight last night, or as tight as I could, and of course that was before there was any rain on it. And I have to say, it hasn't sagged much, if at all, during the night. I've not actually tried. I can't believe this. This is extraordinary. A little while ago, Lassie lost her tag. I just found it. Lying on the floor right there, just as I was walking around. Yeah. That really is extraordinary. So she obviously lost it here. Alright. I noticed the other week, you know, that she didn't have her tag on, and I was thinking I better get another one very quickly. And then just walking around here, and I just saw it down there, because this is, you know, the same place I've pitched last time. Wow, it is extraordinary. shows I didn't do a walk around last night, or if I did, I just didn't look down. I think I did, but I just didn't look down there. Anyway, I carry this walk around because I want to finish and be heading back. I probably won't do, you know, a goodbye video near the car. I think I'll do that here now. It's a bit misty and everything, so I'm just going to get going this time. So yeah, it was a very, very comfortable night, and you know, I really enjoyed it. So it's still not freezing cold down here in the south. It's cool but not freezing. So I still haven't quite got used to really cold weather yet, because we haven't had any really freezing weather down here yet. Anyway, I'm gonna get cracking, and I'm gonna say toodaloo, toodle pip. Lassie is playing in her favourite place, or the edge of her favourite place, the water. So from Lassie and me, you know, until next time, I hope I'll try and get out in December. Like I said, I'm trying to do one a month. Obviously, if I get right near Christmas, then I'm not likely to get out between Christmas and New Year, so I'll try and do something before Christmas. See how time goes and what's happening at home. But I'll try and do a camp once a month. And another thing I thought, when I watch other people's videos, they always say hit that subscribe button and the bell thing and all that sort of stuff at the beginning. I never think of it at the beginning. It makes more sense at the beginning because most people are probably turned off by now. But if you are stupid enough to still be watching, then please hit that subscribe button if you aren't, and keep watching and watch a few adverts, because I can make some money out of you lazy bastards all at home sitting on your couch while I'm out here freezing myself for Queen and Country. So I'll see you all again. Goodbye.